on and check this thing out. All right, so here she is. This is a Chinese-made Yerfdog spider box. And as you can see, it's a good size. It's made for adults. You know, it's a two-seater with no seats at the moment, but we'll take care of that down the road. Pretty good roll cage on top. And as you can see on the front, it has dual A-arms with fully independent suspension. Some coil-over shocks on the front. Now, guys, don't bash me too hard that, you know, if I misspeak on something or I'm incorrect on something. You know, I do watch a lot of this stuff on YouTube, but I am new to this and I am learning it as I go. So I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna say things that probably aren't true, but you know, bear with me, guys. I'm learning this the same as all y'all had to at one time or another as well. So don't bash me too hard, guys. So yeah, you can see, you know, this thing is beefy too. I mean, it's the steel and the round bar that this thing is made out of is really beefy stuff. I mean, it's not thin little tubing. This is a beefy, heavy duty cart. And this thing's really wide as well. I can easily get 2 bucket seats in there. That's what it had originally. And it's got the full floor in there as well. And luckily the brake linkage and the throttle linkage is still in it with the pedals. Of course, I will have to install new throttle cable and probably brake cable as well. It has the luggage rack, I guess you would call it, on the back, so you can haul things around on there as well. But this thing is big. It really kind of hard to tell in the video just how big this thing is. It's a really good size car. I mean, I'm 6'1" and 240 pounds, and I'm telling you, I fit in this thing. 2 of me can easily fit in this go-kart. Yeah, it's got the good sized rear tires on there, all terrain. Obviously, we might change that. I'm not sure. You know, maybe we'll go with this for a little while, but where I'm going to take this thing, I'd probably want something with a little more knobby on it. You know, obviously, there's the swing arm assembly, I guess you would call it, where the motor's going to go. I'm still undecided on the motor. My original plan was to go with like a Predator 212 or 420. You know, because that's what a lot of these guys do, and they say they're really good motors. But, you know, that does involve having to weld a motor mount plate in place and, you know, bracing up a few things, and I'd have to buy the motor, then I'd have to buy the, you know, torque converter and clutch assembly and all that. And at first it seemed like the cheaper, easier route to go. But once I got online and got to looking at these things, I can actually go on Amazon and buy a brand new, fully complete, ready to go 150cc GY6 motor with a warranty for this thing that will bolt right in. So, you know, right now I'm leaning toward probably doing that, because I mean, you just can't beat that. 269 bucks. I mean, that's great. You know, it's going to run me $100 or so more than going the other route, but you know, for the amount of work I'd save buying one that bolts right in, it's probably worth it. And I don't know for sure, because like I said, I'm learning this as I go, guys. But you know, I've had 1 or 2 people tell me that the 150cc GY6 will actually have more power than the Predator 212 or that I was going to put in it. Now the 420 I'm not sure about. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to strip this thing down. And obviously sand it, and we're going to repaint it. Now these things came like this. They came with the body all one color like this. And then the rear swing arm assembly where the motor mounts, and the top bars on the roll cage, and the front suspension were all gray. And, you know, to me, it looks funny to me. I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like you went and bought replacement pieces off another go-kart and put on this. It looks kind of unfinished to me. So when we redo this, all the gray, at least on the bottom, the swing arm and the front independent suspension, I'm going to paint to match the body of the Buggy. Still undecided if I may go two-tone with the top roll cage being something different. I'm not sure yet, but you know, that's the plan. I think it looks unfinished being gray like that. It looks odd to me. Not a big fan of black on black wheels, so that will be changed. You know, and there are some things that I've noticed about this, you know, that are going to need some work. You know, things like this right here. I noticed this right away. For one, all three the tires are good on this thing, and 3 of them were holding air when I picked this thing up. But I did have this one tire that is flat, so I'll probably end up having to put a tube or a patch on this tire here. But right off the bat, I noticed how close that spindle is to that tire. And if you come over here, you can see it's not supposed to be. So that got me to wondering and pretty much coming to the conclusion that this thing has been hit and wrecked, and I believe that spindle is bent. So I went online to look up some parts for these things, and I found a company. I'll have to look it up. I believe it's BMI, and you can buy just about any part that was ever made for these things still, and they're really reasonable. I can buy that replacement spindle for that side for 35 bucks. I mean, that's fantastic to me. I mean, I was really expecting quite a bit more than that. You know, I can get the seats, the high back, quote unquote racing seats that originally came in this. I can get those for $32. $32. I mean, that's just amazing. So yeah, there are some things we're gonna have to fix and redo and rehab and whatnot, but that's basically it, guys. It's a Yerfdog spider box, and we're gonna have some fun building this thing, and we're gonna have even more fun when it's done. So right now, what I'm going to do, because I don't want to start sanding on, I don't know if the picture can pick it up, this thing's been sitting outside and it's starting to grow that green moldy moss on a lot of it. And before I go sanding on this, I'm going to take it outside, hit it with the bleach and the power washer, and get all that off of there to where I can get right down to the paint and the rust and start sanding this thing. So let me go ahead and drag this thing outside and get started. that we have hit it with the pressure washer and knocked all the green algae growing on this thing, you know, the main reason for that was, you know, I'm going to sand it and I'm going to paint it, but you obviously want to get all that stuff off of there before you do the sanding. It just creates more work, clogs up your paper. It's just easier to hit it with the pressure washer, get that off of there, and then we'll proceed to hit it with the sandpaper and work on getting it painted. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this thing apart, you know, because that's the proper way to get it painted and get a job done well, where it's not going to rust in certain areas and whatnot. So this thing comes apart pretty easily. The front end is going to come out as one assembly. The rear end swing arm engine area is going to come out as a whole piece, whole unit. And then these bars up here just come out pretty much one by one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this thing apart, get it up on some blocks.